I remember it like that, it's a classic. And
That's
this
true.
one,
That's a good way to look at it.
This one in 10 years. Oh, God, me in 10 years. When you tell me about this game and you say, remember that game that led to this, that whatever, I'll remember this game. Therefore, ergo, what so have you. This Raiders-Chargers game was, in fact, a classic. I mean, you do want to talk about what the Raiders did to the Chargers last night because they really did something. We did witness history. It is a classic, and there were fireworks. This was a team that had just gotten shut out, okay, that had only scored 20 or more points, not once but twice this season. Just twice this season, Vegas goes and drops 42 points in the first half alone on their way to a 63-21 win. Richard Sherman saying, fire the poor man at halftime. Unbelievable. This was the Our Pets' Heads Are, in fact, falling off game. Aiden O'Connell, first quarterback. We didn't even know he was starting. We're trying to get Edelman to hit up Dola to find out he's even starting on this game. 4 touchdowns in a half this season. That's what Aiden O'Connell did. 8 different players found the end zone. They were back-to-back defensive touchdowns. Darius Butler saying, that might be the nastiest pick six I've ever seen. It was just crazy. This was a historic, this is a game of the year. I went from classic, this is the game of the year. This is a beatdown of epic proportions, people. We'll get into Vegas' record-setting night a bit more in a minute here with Marcel Reese, who's a Raiders legend, and has to be feeling himself. It's amazing. But we should talk about the chart. Have we removed the helmet? Yeah. Oh, there it is. It's on the top shelf. Okay. I mean, I know Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen didn't play, but my God, but my goodness. I don't want to discredit what the Raiders did. That's why I wanted to start with them. We're going to give them their love. Antonio Pierce had these guys flying around, but the Chargers fumbled 6 times. A pick 6. They just look completely lifeless defensively. I feel for Brandon Staley having to answer all those questions about his job right now. And I appreciate him at halftime talking to Kaylee and manning up and being that guy. But this was a team that was completely unprepared, which is that's a word that's gross. Like any NFL team coach, like they're insane. They're obsessive. They're psychotic. They're madmen. Unprepared is probably, that's like the worst word you could call a coaching staff, a football team ahead of a game. It sucks. And it's hard to believe that there won't be some changes last night. And I'm waiting to see, are they going to happen during the show, potentially? The one silver lining, if you want to look at the future, as a Chargers fan, which I am, I like this fan base. I want them to do well. It does move them from the 10th overall pick into the top 5, guys. So that's huge. It's a huge little leap. And so this already is going to be a very sought-after job. It becomes more and more sought after if they do make a move from Staley, which I think after last night, I don't know if it's expected, warranted. Nobody's ever calling for anybody's job. We don't want it to happen, but it might. And now it's about the attractiveness of that seat. When you have potential guys like Bill Belichick and I'm trying to think of who else, the Lou Anarumos of the world sort of, ready to move on and spread their wings a little bit when it comes to head coaching and leading teams and getting them prepared for action. So does that give hope? Was that a good enough job? I don't think I have it in me today.
It's hard.
It's
hard
Friday.
After a game like that.
What do you think? Were you just like, what the?
It was stunning. It really did. I mean, even Brandon Staley, we talked about the unprepared thing. Even he said it at halftime in that halftime interview. He's like, I guess we weren't prepared to play a football game tonight. Like,
when you hear that, are you just like, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about as a coach, is getting your team prepared.
What's the discourse? Is there a lot of like, these lost the locker room vibes? Like,
like that. A lot of it is, they got to get rid. Like he should. Some people are saying, he shouldn't have even been allowed to keep his job. Like last night, it should have been over last night.
Yeah.
But
so Sean Payton broke this team, is what you're. That's like the discourse on Twitter I saw.
Yeah. The Adam Troutman touchdown was the final straw.
That was it. Oh my gosh, wild game. But congrats to the Raiders for getting it done. And it was a classic. It was a classic. Best game of the year. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe right here. Do it now for the latest from Up and Adams.